dear nation, Nigeria, sports as it concerns the development of sports in Nigeria. And on the 2nd of January 2025, the Nigeria Football Federation, NFF, appointed Cool Chile as the new head coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. News, too much news about it. We just woke up that morning and saw that the Super Eagles of Nigeria has gotten a new head coach, and it was born an African, Nigerian African, to hold the position. And Chile, renowned for its tactical leadership skills, steps into the role with a mandate to elevate the national team to the new height and qualify Nigeria, which is the most important thing for the World Cup. However, it is expected that the new coach will bring a wealth of experience to the position, having successfully managed various clubs and national teams. His understanding of the game and proven track record will be crucial as the Super Eagles prepare for the upcoming international competitions, not just the World Cup now, but also the African Cup of Nations. And fans, especially, will shape the theme and inspire a new generation of players. Now, the Super Eagles have a good history in African football, and because we already know that the Nigerian Super Eagles used to be the number one football team in Africa, but right now we can't really say if the Super Eagles of Nigeria or Debo is the Super Eagles of Nigeria still the giant in football.
It's like when you are a soldier, you're always a soldier. If you're the number one, you're always number one, especially when it concerns Nigeria. You can't take us in the second place. We're always number one.
Yeah, because of the good history we've had, and also the good history we still have, because we have numerous African Nigerian players who have won the African Footballer of the Year. And the new coach at the there is a real hope for future successes and which on the continental and global stages. Meanwhile, since the official announcement of his appointment by the NFF, some fans have expressed a skepticism. Questions have been coming from different angles about Chile's experience and ability to handle the pressure associated with managing the Super Eagles of Nigeria. You know, before he was appointed, we've had was that has been the misconception. There are two types of coaches: those who are sacked and those who are waiting to be sacked.
But you know, there is no end to anything. When you start a job, the day will come when you have to leave the job.
Our guest will be discussing this particular topic this morning about the appointments of Chile, who is the new head coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria. We will not be doing this alone. We have a guest who will be discussing this together. And also, we also have the where you also listening can contribute to the program. This morning we have as guest Abiodun Ogundipe. He's a sport analyst and also someone who knows sports even much more than you can ever think. Good morning, Mr.
Good morning, Emmanuel. Good morning, Debo. It's good to be on the program this beautiful Thursday.
Okay, before Building comes on, we'll be talking to Godwin and Nahina briefly, and then we'll come back to the studio to do the full discussion. I hope Godwin is online.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Godwin. Okay, hello, good morning. Okay, now we have as guest on the phone this morning, Mr. Godwin Enahena, who is a veteran when it comes to sports, when it comes to sport journalism
In
yes,
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Okay,
Yes.
so Godwin, good morning to you, and let's start by first of all thanking you and your colleagues or your colleagues all over Nigeria for giving us sport education from time to time. All right. So let's start before we delve into the questions we have. Let's start by first of all confirming from you how to call Eric's name. Is it Chili or Shells?
Eric Chow.
Okay. All right, that's beautiful. Eric Shells. Now we know. Now, the first question that any Nigerian would want to ask from you when we have this kind of opportunity is, Does it mean that Nigeria, as endowed as we are, as blessed as we are, does it mean we do not have human resources, experts, coaches who can handle Nigerian Super Eagles and take them to the height of glory?
Okay, I like this question, and the reason is very simple. I think first and foremost is we must find a way of educating our viewer or our listener. Eric here is French, first and foremost.
Okay.
Now he plays for Mali because by parentage he's Ivorian. It is losing one thing. A lot of folks kept talking about the war. Child, he qualified without losing a game. If he were Indian coach, you and I would destroy him with our mouth. You put him under pressure. We make cases for white people, but when it comes to the Nigerian coach, we will not do that. So it's a case of, at this point, where we are now, the big job in the Nigerian coach. For me, I would talk to where I want to compare if you were Ghanaian or the most important thing would be, can this man do it? How many ask people? First of all, tell me, where was Western coaching when we brought people like that? Oh, he has a white team. From a bar in Papenda, he came to Nigeria. And he's the most successful coach Nigeria has ever seen. Come on, and we brought in a second Johannes Bomberi. Where was he coaching when we brought him to Nigeria? Today is the most successful, one of the most, apart from West Ham, the next man, the most successful in the Nigeria. Please, let's know what people are listening to us. This guy has come at a time we need somebody to pilot this particular ship or put it to wherever. I saw him in Cote d'Ivoire a few months ago. I saw what he whether you saw it on TV. You don't have to be good one, but the kind of football man play. He's a young man. He's come also very affordable. We have brought somebody with a $300,000 and we need to qualify for the World Cup. We have written on their result. We have someone who is eager, who says, I can do it. I just finish coaching the national team at the Nations Cup. And I'm not a new man. That is my position.
Well, beautiful, beautiful. Now, it is one thing for Nigeria to go for a coach, of his pedigree. It's another thing for the choice to resonate with the players. And these are the boys that will do the job. So what's the kind, have you felt the pulse of one or two of the boys?
Yeah, the great people in this game called football, or in this sport called football, the players don't need anyone to motivate them. The players don't need to support anyone. A lot of these players, let's say about 60% of them, know very well that if this World Cup, there might not be another opportunity.
Hmm.
They will be done before the next World Cup. So whatever it will take for them to put, even if you break them, in fact, that one of them is for the best. I am looking at two things. The first one is a game in match against Rwanda, away from Nigeria, and the other team against South Africa. If we beat Rwanda, after that game, we have to beat which is the same Rwanda as Zimbabwe. We win these games, of course, we become vegetable. We'll now play South Africa. It's not that yes, we are not where we're supposed to be. But when we beat Rwanda, we have right now, we have 3 points. We beat Rwanda, in that means we have 6 points. Rwanda will be given by 1 point. If Rwanda will come to Nigeria to play us. Now, if we don't get just points, there's also the playoff spot for the team that comes second, based on the number of games we have won. Nigeria will be second. It means we can go for playoffs. But I'm confident and believe that we can get it. It's not that bad as we have been. So I repeat by saying that the players don't need anybody to motivate them. The ticket and the World Cup is enough motivation for any player.
All right, thank you very much. If you just joined us, Godwin Enakina is with us on the program this morning, talking to us about the newly picked Nigerian Super Eagles coach. Now, before we allow Godwin to go, what will be your message to Nigerians as you approach the tournament or the competitions?
I always playing and praying for this team, support the team. I don't know what that means. You already at that competition. Everyone is praying. All I would just say is, as far as I'm concerned, the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the players are not playing only for you. The first important thing to them is they are players to rub shoulders with their brothers who are going to be at the World Cup in America. So let's support them with their prayers because we pray in our Africa. They think we're the people that want to pray. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
I will speak to them and say, not like this. Let's give these players and their great position after going to do things. Give them no distraction. And Nigerians will appreciate this fight.
Thank you very much, Godwin Enakina. We appreciate you for joining us this morning on Morning Flight.
Thank you very much. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. The newly appointed head coach of the Super Eagles of Nigeria, Eric. And in the studios here this morning, we have as guests, as mentioned earlier, Abiodun Ogundipe, and also he'll be shedding more light on the new head coach and also what the Super Eagles of Nigeria stand to get, most especially for the qualification for the African Cup of Nations and also for the World Cup. Good morning once again, Mr. Ogundipe.
Good morning, Emmanuel.
Now let's start with this. How would you describe the selection process of the new head coach, Eric Chell? How many coaches applied? What was the selection process like?
Uh, well, I'm not part of the NFF technical committee, so it's difficult for me to speak on that. And that selection process was not made open to us by the NFF. We don't know. Didn't know that. Earlier, we heard that they hired a German coach. Just it was late in the night that story broke, and by the next morning, by 24 hours after, it was another story that said the deal was not concluded, paying salaries, taxes, this and that. They didn't really agree, and they said no. And now that they have not hired him, they are still talking to him, and that one fell. That deal fell apart. We didn't really see the light, and of course, some few months later, late in the night again, we just saw another thing. Eric Chell was is a big coach, and even people close to the glass house, that's the Nigerian Football Authority, were doubting that story. Like, is it true? Is it where did it? People we were all asking, have you seen this? Have you heard this story? Is it true? Is it authentic? And by the next morning, lo and behold, it was true. And everybody was like confused. Where did we start this process? How did we end there? Nobody can really pinpoint anything and say anything. Even people very close to the glass house who had their heads to the ground could not really say, could not really confirm, could not say, oh, this is how we did it, we are like that. So
In
that was
that
just of confusion.
case, in that case, usually there are processes, that are followed before a coach is picked. Most of the time, we have 2, 3, 4 names. They tell us, oh, these names have been shortlisted, just like you mentioned. But that was not done in this case. What would have been responsible for that?
I think it's most times the way we conduct our operations, our activities in Nigeria. Most times, all really operates an open system in Nigeria. We know we want to hire a coach, or we know we want something, we want somebody, we want to give a contract. How it is arrived at, is this the best option? Is this the best possible price? At times, you might have like 2 or 3 coaches that are very good, or contractors that are very good, and maybe price is the determining factor for you to arrive at contractor A, or salary is the determining price you come to coach B. That may be okay. Maybe experience. This person has 10 years experience. This person has years experience, and they are both qualified. Okay, because of experience, we go for number 1. He has more experience. So all these places are not open. They are to us. We don't really know them. We just know that at the end of the day, somebody is picked. A contractor is picked. How they arrive at it. What are the metrics? What are the indicators for arriving at that? We don't really. So we accept it and move on, roll on to another stage. That things come, we still accept it, and it goes on like that.
Well, my worry is that it could not be what Godwin mentioned, that whichever coach is proposed, normally Nigerians will talk. And even those people in charge just believe, look, let us save ourselves all this worry. Let's just pick somebody and then give it to them so that we won't have to go through all this process. But let's wait. Hold that thought. We'll come back after this.
So we'll always have opinions that this is how it should be, this is how it should be, I know about it. But one thing for me is that if the process is open and you have metrics, you have indicators that this are and this and this are what we are looking for, and you follow through that process, you follow through that metrics and indicators, yes, there will be complaints, there will be side talks, there will be people that don't agree with you. But on the larger scale, you can defend your position. When people don't agree with you, you can ask, these are my reasons, these are the metrics I have used, these are the indicators I have used to arrive at this. And people will largely say, okay, we agree with you based on the metric. Somebody was telling me before we appointed Eric Chell that who should Nigerian go for? What type of coach should Nigerian go for? And I said, if you are asking what type of coach should Nigerian go for, what is our vision for Nigerian football? That will determine the coach you want to put in place. Manchester City was an average football team in England, but then they got new owners and they wanted to be one of the biggest players in world football, in club football. They wanted to compete with the best in England, they wanted to compete with the best in Europe, they wanted to compete with the best in Europe. And that is the vision for that club. And they had to get a coach that matched that vision. And I keep asking,
massive investment.
And they put the investment in place to achieve that vision. And I keep asking, what is the vision of the present NFL for Nigerian football? I don't got any answer to that. If I have an answer, I can tell you, okay, this is the kind of coach that will help achieve the vision. This is the kind of investment that will help you achieve that vision. So if NFL give us the answer to that question, I can answer, okay, this is the kind of opportunity. You also want to qualify for the World Cup. World Cup comes up every 4 years, and every nation wants to qualify for the World Cup. For me, that's a reason for you to get in the coach. Every nation wants to qualify, no doubt about it. But then the football, what's the vision? What is your plan? What do you want to achieve? That will determine the kind of coach you have, the kind of investment you have, the kind of structure you put in place.
Now, going back to the World Cup qualification you just mentioned, and now looking at the track records of Eric Chell, our new head coach, do you see him taking the Super Eagles of Nigeria to the next level, or do you see him qualifying the Super Eagles of Nigeria to the next World Cup?
Qualifying Nigeria for the next World Cup for me is a tough task, very tough one. I say it's not difficult, it's not. For me, it's not hard. If we win all our upcoming matches, our opponents who have the opportunity or the ability to win their matches. The matches they are playing against their opponents, that is not against Nigeria, it's not in our hands. We cannot determine the outcome. We can only work to determine the outcome of the matches we are playing against them. Right now, Nigeria is 5th on the table out of 6 teams. We have 3 points. The first 3 teams in that on that table, Rwanda is first with 7 points. South Africa is second with 7 points. Benin Republic is third with 7 points. Lesotho is fourth with 5 points. Let's leave Lesotho out of it. Let's look at Rwanda, South Africa, and Benin Republic. 7 points. We have to overcome them. And we have to pray that they don't win any more points.
That's real.
So let's say we win all our points. In the other matches, can we guarantee that South Africa will lose all their matches? Rwanda will lose their matches.
Good teams.
Benin Republic will lose their matches. That we cannot guarantee. What we can try and work and guarantee that we win all our matches.
And hope they lose.
And hope and pray they lose.
What kind of
It is difficult. It's not even about the coach you have in place. Because when you bring Alex Ferguson, join him with Arsene Wenger, you cannot determine what the Republic want to play in the other match. They can only determine what is Super Eagles to play with their opponents. So it's a tough one. We had a very poor start. And that's always been the problem of Nigeria. Always have a very good approach. We always have a poor start. And then we start doing permutation and combination. It was only during the time of Genetro qualifying for the World Cup, qualifying for the Nations Cup, we never had permutation. We had very good start. We played our games, most times we don't lose. We qualified for the World Cup of Nations Cup with a good spear. I think at the time, Debo was very good for the Nations Cup. At the time, was very good at playing very well in qualification. And our mind was at rest. This time around, that are not in our control, that cannot control, that cannot predict.
Well, Godwin wants us to lay on the ambition of the boys. At least personally, they want glory themselves, global glory, which is also a good, factor and a good area to rest and hope, even though better. During the qualification matches. I'll the same put on the line right now so that you also can be part of the discussion. this morning flight. OGBC 95 FM, looking at the pick of Eric Charles as the Super Eagles of Nigeria's coach at this point in time. And of course, the chances were 0815 The lines to call to be part of the program this morning. I welcome you to, sir.
Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, Ogunbe.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Wole Owonsheni. I'm calling from Naro. From the setting of the scene, from what Godwin said, don't you think the refusal of NNF to make the selection process open, don't you think, would you not suspect that there is corruption in the process of the selection? That's my question and my concern. Because in a lot of things in Nigeria, corruption is always there. So if NFF will refuse to make the selection process open and to let us know what are the yardsticks that will make them pick a coach, don't you suspect corruption in that selection process? That's my question. Good morning.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, well, it's a possibility, but it's also something anybody can prove. But I think most times, before we came on here, that we were saying is that there are too many vested interests in Nigerian football. Past ex-footballers, ex-coaches, ex-ministers, ex-administrators, government officials, they all have one interest or the other. Because football is huge in Nigeria, it's very big, money spending, a lot of patronage, and so because of those conflicting interests, most times it's difficult for them to come out and say this is what you want to do, this is what we are following through, because somebody somewhere, not even on the scene, behind the scene that you are not seeing, will have one interest or the other. And of course, that corruption issue has always been an allegation, but then before you see best interest, it's causing all these problems.
Okay, now look the history of Super Eagles coach. Good morning.
Good morning, Emmanuel, and good morning, Debo.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Debo.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Football. I am Simi Bambu calling from Shara. Let me say that as with Nigeria in many areas, if the selection process was not made open, then any speculation, any suggestion would be okay. That is just as simple as that. And we know what we Nigerians are. But definitely, I always feel concerned that we don't think we Nigerians are good in anything. We import everything. We import shoes, we import everything, and we import coaches. Why do we always import? Is it not possible for us to find coaches in Nigeria on whom we can invest and make them improve? If we have Nigerians who are playing abroad and they are playing very well, if we have people who in this country, doctors, engineers, and they are doing well abroad, can't we find good coaches in Nigeria and invest in them instead of employing foreign coaches and paying them big salaries? Why can't we do that? That is what I think is patriotism. That is the problem with Nigeria. I would rather have that. I would rather have us employ Nigerian coaches and train them, and whatever result we can get from them, we pray to God that we continue to improve. As I just said this morning, football we cannot predict. So any foreign coaches have disappointed us before. So why do we want to invest in foreign coaches? I think that is wrong. Something must have gone on the ground. Thank you very much. I'm so down from Sarah.
Thank you for your
much.
contribution.
I want to agree with Adebanjo with that we should invest in our coaches. For example, there is currently a Nigerian coach of a Nigerian Premier Football League side in Nigeria who was a coach. He was the coach of that team, and at the point, because of the ambition of that team, they want to be one of the top clubs in Nigeria. They sent this coach for foreign training. He was sent to a club in Portugal, second division club in Portugal, to go and learn in that club for a year. And after a year, he came back. He's now in charge of that team. And that team is one of the top 3 teams in Nigeria right now, doing very well. They have been to the continent under him, and they are still one of the top 3 teams. So we need to invest in our coaches, in our local coaches, so that they can rub shoulders with others and be one of the best.
Hello, good morning.
Thank you for allowing me to come back. My question is this: why do we always bank on the fire brigade approach? From the beginning, it will sound as if our players are not that serious, and later they will now be clamoring for how to get qualified. From the beginning, we should have been able to put all things together to see that we have very good point. Now we are almost at the rear, and we are clamoring for how to get qualified. How do you think that will work out? That's another question. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution once again.
Nigeria is not new to fire brigade approach. It's been part of us for long. And for me, it's down to the administrators. The people in charge of Nigerian football, before they come to that office, I ask them what is their vision for Nigerian football. If you have your vision, your plan, your roadmap, and you come to the office, it makes the job easier. No job, that job is not an easy job, but then if you are prepared, it makes your job easier. You know what you're looking for, you know your vision for Nigerian football, you know the kind of investments you have to put in there, you know the kind of structures you have to put down, and you know the kind of personnel you have to bring in. So when you are prepared before getting to office, but most people just want to get to office to make the name for pecuniary gains or to advance their personal ambition or one thing or the other. So when you are prepared before coming to as an administrator, then you'll be able to handle the team and prepare them very well ahead of time. You know what they need and you are ready to give it to them. Not that when you now come to office, you now be looking to your left, your right, what do we do, where do we go, where do we... For example, getting the as Super Eagles took us about 5 months. Why is that process so long? Why is it so that difficult for you to employ a coach? When you know your metrics and send for applications, people will apply, invite them, interview them. Anybody that their qualification and experience and what they have meets with them, you employ that person.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you
Good
for
morning.
joining us.
Yeah, my name is Debo.
Sir, you're welcome on
Good morning.
board. Good
Well,
to
Thanks
have
for
you.
joining us.
Good morning. Let me get for not being able to speak today with you guys. I'm in transit and I've been listening to you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
morning.
Morning,
Morning.
sir.
Yeah. I listened to God in the night. His substance, and I have some points of disagreement with him over a ritual. So it's not just about the situation we find ourselves. Yes, we want to qualify for the World Cup, and so we are presently boxing, and we've gone for the coach that doesn't have the kind of pedigree that we think he should have at this point in contemporary football. Yes, and just call on maybe the point of disagreement here is origin Somali, his parents, his mother is from Mali, the father is from France, was born in Cote d'Ivoire. Football expertise does not really respect origin. And so on that basis, but the question I keep asking is that how is the child superior to Anthony Guaguan, for instance? How is it superior to Alamwike? How is it superior to Finidi George? In terms of pedigree, in terms of the game, I mean, they're playing history and you know. So for me, I'm not really in support of the NFL for choosing him. But then I'm not to choose him. It's what we have now, and so we need to support him. But on a general scale, I think the plan with us in this country is because we are now speaking of tournaments and championships. We don't think development. You know, the thing that going to the World Cup every 4 years or going to every year is the all that we do transfer to football development. You really have to qualify for every World Cup. For every sport. That's everything. do some things for the yet. So we always try to assess in uncomfortable situation. Just that we are just now. You know, we should not be in the same group with Rwanda and
Lesotho,
and then and we are
fifth
not
on the
topping
table.
that group. You know, now I like the caller that called from Ilara who spoke about our failure to the coaches. And I think there was also an example of good. And we are not in the reflection of that in the NFL. That's about when it's about an example of a okay, because when Mali went to try to get back to Nigeria, but she was in class of two, not in a same class, ignore relegation.
We don't
We have issues with network.
we have issues with network. Sorry, they don't like go and transit. So the line is not clear. I think I want to support it also because if you are comparing, you can't compare Stephen Keshi. Keshi has a stellar career as a footballer. What kind of career did Keshi have as a he wasn't that known or that flamboyant. You know, he didn't really. How many games did he play for Mali as a footballer? What was it? Keshi and in his days, the early days, the academic house playing for the Spike. When he captained that team, the Nations Cup, he was captain and he had a career as a footballer. And the coach then went to Mali, he saw what he did well. But he was talking, I was talking about Joe and West Ham that when they came, you can't get those early 90s when Nigerian football was just developing. Well, we were not top in Africa. We are not that known in the world. When we went to the World Cup in 1994, Nigeria was the first 15 in Israel. In 1998, we were taking space to the trainers. Then that was when our football was just developing, blossoming, to the world. Our players were emerging as, competing with the likes of. After that 1994 World Cup, England had to invite the Super Eagles for a friendly in Wembley.
That's right.
Can England Nigeria again and say this is a top team we need to compete with? So our football should be it's above the level that we are looking at. Who has just gone to one fell out at the quarterfinal stage. His coaching career, his footballing career, what are the kind of achievement and experience that he achieved? Nigeria should be joining in Africa and competing with the best in the world.
Well, I think if there's one lesson from today's discussion, it should be that there should be a vision for Nigerian football. That vision should be a robust one that will now determine what steps to be taken in terms of coaching, in terms of everything that should be done to place Nigeria football on the right pedestal. I want to say a big thank you to Bedouin and you also called. It was supposed to be here this morning. Thank you very much for calling in all the same. And of course, want to also thank our guest in the studio right here. Is one of our best when it comes to sport in Ogun State today. I rate you high.
Thank you very much.
And I'm so happy that you could join us this morning.
It's a pleasure.
Samko was saying that she even gave us better than when you did sport. That is Samko's way of doing things, So big thank you to all.
This morning is a guest, not a presenter.
Of course, again this morning. I want to appreciate all our callers from home. Thank you very sincerely. And of course, everyone who called in and everyone who listened, we appreciate you.
Many thanks to the editors in the newsroom.
Happens in the newsroom. And of course, Adeyinka, the President of Ordnance, Daniel, we appreciate you.
The production of Mrs. Shodiopo. I am Emmanuel Adebanjo, wishing you a great day.
And I'm Debo, and have a nice day.